So today we're talking about change. Huh? Show of hands, who here has ever been to a Sunday service somewhere in their life that talked about change? A few of you? Yeah? So I bet you guess that you know what I'm already going to say. Because you've already lived through it once, right? Right? No? Yes? Give me a sign. Shake a head. Help me out. This is interactive. It's like a Wii. Bless you. So we talk about change, we talk about, like in a skit, changing what I think, changing what I act, changing what I do, changing what I speak will bring about changes in my world. How many folks here know thoughts create things? How many people think I'm going to spend 20 minutes up here just quoting you the secret that you've already seen? No? Ah, gotcha. You're on autopilot back there. You're like, oh, he raised his hand, I do too. Not my deal. Not my deal. I'm all about what works, what tangibly works in your world. Tangibly. Because to me, God is that real. Metaphysics is that real, and spirituality is that real that we can actually utilize it. It's not just for Sundays, it's not just for a belief system, it's not just for I know that. How many folks here watch The Secret? Cool. How many folks here are living their ultimate version of themselves right now as we speak? Right on, some of you. That's cool. How many people here believe that good can get better? How many people believe that things don't have to suck to get better? Good! Because they don't. Our motto here is good and getting better. And each and every week we intend on doing that. And we do it. We do it together. We do it individually. Now we're talking about change, and we're looking at change and how can change work and how can change affect your world, and what do you want to change and how do you want to change it? How many folks have ever tried to change something and it just didn't seem to happen? I once heard a guy say, I tried to change the world, but I was outnumbered. We change the world by changing ourselves. Like our mission statement says, we change the world by changing ourselves and each other. That's what we do. Now, we know we've got free will. We know that we can make any choice at any time we want to. Most of us choose not to. We choose to go on autopilot. We choose to give our power to other things. We say, I cannot because my finances, I cannot because my boss, I cannot because my spouse, I cannot because my circumstance. Circumstances change. Every person in this room at one point in time needed to have their diaper changed. Every single one of you. Me too. Thank goodness it's been a while ago. Right? But we changed. We grew into something else. At one point, for 9 months, we breathed water. Folks, we were part fish as we were growing up in here. At some point, we changed from something that breathes water to something that breathes air. Profound, dramatic change. The only man who ever treated me sensibly was my tailor. He took new measurements every time he saw me, and everyone else expected my old clothes to fit. When you see folks, do you see them and expect them to be today who they were yesterday? Or do you take a new inventory and say, who are you today? Something to think about. Something to think about. Now, if we all have free will, right? We there? Everybody here has free will. Your free will can only change you. You can't change anybody else. Show of hands, who here has tried to change somebody else? How many here were successful? No, exactly. We can only change us. But we have the free will to change us into anything we want to be. You are not your circumstances, good or bad. At one point in my life, I was homeless. I lived in a Volkswagen van with two other dudes in South Dakota. And the van had no windows. Well, it had a couple windows, but not enough to make a difference. In the middle of a South Dakota winter. Between the three of us, we managed to put together enough change at a truck stop to get a bottomless cup of coffee that we did in rotation for 3 days. One guy would spend sipping the coffee. When he was nice and warm, an hour later, he would go sleep in the van. The guy who was in the van would wake up and come inside and try to warm up. An hour later, he would take his turn on the coffee. And we did that because that was the only way that we could survive hypothermia. I am not my circumstance. My circumstance has changed. The same me, a couple of years ago, received a presidential or a congressional leadership award, appointed to the Business Advisory Council of my state, and made chairman, and got to go speak at the United Nations for 10 days on a conference on spirituality and ethics. I've published 2 books. I've spoken to, depending on the year, up to 100 million people in a year. I am not my circumstance. I am not this, and I am not that. Up until a year and a half ago, I was a single man my whole life. Now I'm a married man. Now I have 5 kids. Then I got adopted. I got parents. I quit telling God no and started a family right here. My circumstances change all the time, so do yours. At some point, you outgrow your old story. Your old story doesn't fit anymore. It just doesn't. It's time to get a new story. You keep trying to make your old story fit. Your circumstances are just the reflection of your thoughts and actions yesterday. But that's all that preachy stuff, that I'm going to tell you what to think stuff. And we don't do that too much here. We get a little bit of mind candy, enough to chew on, enough to say, cool, let me percolate on that, let me process it throughout my week. But we're here about tangible things, right? Tangible change, tangible change. Now, free will, right? We all have it. We can make any choice at any time, and the only person we can change is us, right? Now, a lot of folks think that change is tough stuff. Change is hard work, and it can be. Sometimes, shifting a perspective changes everything, effortlessly. If I am looking through a telescope, and I change that telescope 1 degree, I'm looking at a different galaxy in the sky. 1 degree of change of my perspective puts me in a whole millions of miles away, different, just down the road a little bit. Do you think you know you? Do you think you know you? Do you think you know yourself? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you do on some level, but not another level. Do you know you the way that God knows you? Do you know you the way that other people know you? Maybe, maybe not. But oftentimes we think that we know how other people see us. Because we think we know who we are. And we think we know what you think of us. Now, here's my question. If you can change anything in your life, but the only thing you can change is you, and you changes everything else, then kind of the common denominator in the middle is you. The one thing that every relationship you have ever had in your entire life has in common is you. Every job you have ever had, one common thing is you. You think maybe you know yourself. At the beginning of the service, at the beginning of every service, we sing our song, Help Me Remember Who I Am. Help me remember who I am. And we try to help each other remember who we are. Today we're going to do something a little different. A little bit different. I'm going to ask everybody to stand up and cruise back to this table over here and stand in front of a clipboard. Everybody grab a clipboard and a pen. On the top of this clipboard, I want you to write your name.
Oh, I can do that.
I can type right in your name.
Then just draw a circle around it.
You didn't give good directions.
Okay, let's try that.
I put it on the top.
Okay? Now, I want us to kind of form a little bit of a circle like we do at the end. But right here, right where you're at. Just form a little bit of a circle. Now, I want you to think about or tune into, if you know the person whose name is at the top, I hope you do, because it's your clipboard, right? But as we pass them around, if you don't know who the person is, just count back. I've done it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's yours. If I know you, I want to write something down there that is the nicest thing that I think about you. If I don't know you, then I need to tune in and use my imagination as God's guidance to say, what do I see when I see you? What do I feel when I feel you? We're going to pass these around just for a minute. Okay? So, everybody pass yours to the right. And when you see the name of the person there, it was the person standing next to you, so we know just who they are. Write down just a couple words, not sentences, folks, just a couple words. Maybe positive or loving, integrity, giving, spiritual, whatever words come to your mind when you think of this person. I want to take a moment. Take a moment and read what other people think about you, how you make other people feel. Actually, at the beginning, if you thought you knew yourself, see if you can relate to the words that are on the page, that you touch other people's lives, how they feel about you. In order to change anything, we first have to understand it. Maybe you thought you knew who you were. Maybe you thought you knew who you were to yourself and to other folks. Maybe as you read through this sheet, you realize that you didn't know yourself quite as well as you thought you did. Just in reading this sheet, just in connecting with everybody else, and openly sharing what you think about them, and openly receiving what they think about you, automatically changes the position of that telescope. Automatically changes your perspective. It can take you light years away from where you were headed, or where you thought you were headed. God is good. There's a spark of God inside you. And maybe, as you read through this sheet, you see how you touch the lives of other folks. You can see that little spark of God inside yourself shining out. Maybe as you got to write down on someone else's sheet what you think about them, how they make you feel, how they've touched your world. You have to get a little glimpse of their spark of God. You have to help remind them who they are. Now, I said at the beginning, as we say every week, we've got two jobs. Better understanding and closer relationship with God and myself, and tools for life mastery. How'd we do it? Yeah? Anybody surprised at what they say on their sheet? At least a word or two on there that you didn't expect. Yeah? Anybody else still reading their sheet, not paying attention to the guy in the front? That's okay too. Yes, spit out your gum, young lady. No, just kidding. Just kidding. But this is what it's all about, folks. We are connected, and we are connections. You can change anything in your world you want to change. And once you get it, you can decide you want something different, go change that. And do it over and over and over and over again. Winston Churchill said, change is wisdom. Repeated change is perfection. Thank you. Now, hear that for a second, especially if you're here for the first time. At Connections, every week we give you a gift. A tangible physical gift, because we don't just give you words, thoughts, emotions, spirituality, and tools here. We give you tangible things because it's a reminder that what you come here for is tangible in your world. Makes tangible differences in your world. Last week we gave Piggy Bank. Week before that it was a Zen garden. We've given rose quartz and clear quartz and sage and hypnosis CDs. If we can think of the tool that ties into that week's message, that every time you look at it, you're reminded, oh yeah, that's how I felt that day. That's what I got that day. That's what I thought that day. That's what I was connected to that day. Now today's giving gift, you already have it in your hands. You already have it. You gave it to each other. We don't just give it to you. You give it to each other. But, that being said, we also got you something else. There's something to be said for a little change in the world. So today we're giving you some change. for giving me some change. We exchange energy with you. Every week we tell you money is just energy, and we put our money where our mouth is. It is. It is. Every time you see this change, whatever you take out of here, sometimes there's a little change, sometimes there's a bunch of change. You do what God tells you. You do what you feel called to do. But whatever this is, put it somewhere, use it somewhere so that when you see it, you're reminded change is good and you're rewarded for change. Hardwires the mind instantly. So think about the words to the song Magic Penny and sing along as we pass this throughout.
Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor.
Every week we talk to you about giving and receiving is the same door. How many folks have heard giving and receiving is the same door? How many people have heard it from a church? That giving and receiving is the same door. How many people have ever had their church pass up there in an offering basket and say, you take the money? We honestly believe the things we talk about, and we believe it so much that we do it. That we do it. The song said, give it away, and you'll end up having more. We give of our time, and y'all give of your time. We give of our talent, y'all give of your talent. We give of our money, and y'all give of your money. It's exchanging energy, that's all it is. Now, at least minimum of 10% of everything that comes in the God box, comes in the offering plate, goes in the God box over here. And the God box is a prayer request box. If you know somebody who needs help, let us know. Let us know. We will pray for them. We will use every tool we have to helping to answer that prayer to the best of our ability. Now, sometimes the need that's in there is more immediate. And we utilize what comes in the offering basket, what y'all give, to make that happen. To make that happen. We've had some folks in there with some things like, groceries. Groceries. My neighbor has no groceries. And we show up at the door with groceries and say, we were here to deliver these. Where'd that come from? I don't know, it came in this card. The card just says, I'm listening and I love you, God. You know, if somebody doesn't have groceries, they are praying to somebody. You want to see a miracle? Be a miracle. Every week, whether you know it or not, you're a part of the miracles that are there on both sides. One, on letting us know what the needs are. And two, helping us to fill those needs. Santa has little helpers, so does God. We all get our little Santa hats. We're all God's helpers here. And we're a team. We're a team. It's an energy. When we see something like the earthquake that rocked Japan, when we see something like the tsunami that happened afterwards, how many people in this room want to help? Now, as one person, I can say, I can help this much. I can pray, I can send energy, I can do these things, and I can find someone to give X amount of dollars to. Red Cross, whatever it is. We're about connecting. What can we do? Ask you to grab hold of the hand of the person next to you. Now, what can we do? What can we do? As this family continues to grow, we can do more and more and more and more and more, and we will. We will because we already are. And every new person who joins this family adds their energy to making profound things happen for themselves and each other. You're part of that, and we are so glad you are. We will do our level best to remind you of who you are, a spiritual being having a human experience. To remind you of the power and the joy and the strength that we get from each other, that come from us. We change the world as we change ourselves and each other. Now I ask you, in this moment, when take a gift in your hand, and when take a gift in your hand, and energize it. Money is just energy. Put all the energy you can to it. And if you agree with what's on the screen and on the back of your bulletin, we invite you to read it with us. Divine Spirit, bless these gifts. I welcome abundance in my life. Bless and multiply all that I am able to give and all that I am willing to receive. How many people have ever heard the statement, in the event of water emergency, please put that oxygen mask over yourself before assisting others? Once upon a time, I asked a stewardess who was walking by, what happens if I don't? I've got my wife and my parents were on that flight. I said, what if I want to help them first? I'm just curious. And she said, you will have 2.2 seconds of oxygen. If you don't put it over yourself first, you choose who dies. Wow. Wow. We help the world as we help ourselves and each other. And each other. And as we give out, giving and receiving is the same door. We cannot outgive God. We're not big enough. We're not big enough. We give to the world. It's like yelling into a canyon, hello! We don't get back, hello. We get back, hello! Hello, 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 hello. You cannot outgive God. You help the world as you help yourselves and each other. As much as you are able to give, and it has nothing to do with the monetary amount, it has to do with what you feel in your heart. If what you feel in your heart is, I'm happy, where'd the little bucket go? If you can say in your heart, I am so happy to give this because I know that it is going to bless God. I know it's going to bless the people in the God box. I know it's going to bless all of these things. And I know that I work with a God who will not be outgiven. It will come back to me repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. If that's how you feel, put something in here. If instead what you feel is, right now, I need some help. I don't know that I have it right now to give. Then when the bucket goes by, take some out. Put it in your pocket. Or put it in the God box and we'll make sure you get it. This is giving and receiving in action. And we'll go with the same Magic Penny song because it's the same stuff.
Love is something if you give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Love is something if you give it away. You end up having more. It's just like a magic penny. Hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor.
Welcome
change. We will be the change. We will be the change that we want to see, and the world will change. If we be the change, if we be the change that we want to see, and the world will change. If we be the change, if we be the change that we want to see, and the world will change. If we be the change, if we be the change that we want to see.
Where?
In the world.
At this point in the service, we form a prayer circle. We do so physically. We hold our hands and we pass energy between each other. Big extension cord coming down from the divine and sharing it out with everyone else. And every week we talk that we are more than just our physical body. We are that of our spiritual body. So today we're going to do it a little different and ask your body to stay where it is, and ask your spirits to hold hands in a circle. Close your eyes, if you will, and imagine stepping out of your puppet, your body, and connecting with every other light, every other angel, every other spirit of every person in this room. Welcoming in the energy of God, the energy of the divine. An overwhelming sense of love, abundance, health, healing, prosperity, smiles. Overjoyed. Absolutely overjoyed. Imagine sharing that energy with the soul next to you and the soul next to them. And all the things that we see, from age to gender, race, religion, past, present, future, all fade away when we see each other for what we truly are, a spark of God, a piece of the Creator, our essential essence and perfect spirit. When your ball of light is done having a ball, having fun playing with all the other ball of lights, and especially the great big one right in the center that is God, I ask you to bring your soul back into your body. See if it feels any different inside you. This is our family. These are our vessels.